If you're one of the millions of Americans like me that have people who have been MAGA supporters, whether it's just for the 2024 election or for the last 10 or 11 years, in your circle of friends and families in some way, shape, or form, it could be a friend, it could be a neighbor, it could be a significant other, they could be a family member, it could be a number of different relationships. But if you have them in your life and you're confused about how they're responding right now, this video is for you and for me and basically for all of us. You see, what I see is MAGA voters responding to what they're seeing coming out of this administration in basically one of two ways. Many are doubling down, and that is incredibly frustrating in its own right, but nothing has really shifted in that sense. The other group is starting to wake up. They're starting to realize that all of the talk about releasing the Epstein files was just talk. And even more so, it's looking more and more and more like the people who were the biggest perpetrators are those covering it up. We'll see how that unfolds, but that is waking a chunk of MAGA voters up. The craziness around tariffs and economic policies that isn't delivering anything this administration promised on day one, let alone year one, is waking people up. The sort of craziness around how the military is being used is waking people up. Whatever it is, there's a bunch of different causes why people are waking up. And if you're one of those people who have someone in your life who is just starting to wake up, I think it's okay to feel a deep desire to let them have it. After all, most of us tried to warn them. Most of us tried to talk in some way, shape, or form to them. Most of us really put ourselves out there to try to connect at some point over the last 10 years, only to be hurt. To be hurt because they chose to believe someone they've never met online over believing us. Sometimes it's because they went and found belonging in a place that wasn't your relationship, wasn't your friendship, wasn't your family, whatever the case may be. And that hurt is certainly real. Even more so, this political movement and the behaviors being modeled by the top in it are really based on being bullies. And maybe the MAGA friends, MAGA neighbors, certainly not in every case, but in some cases, called us names, called us like we had Trump derangement syndrome, called us unpatriotic, dramatic or overly dramatic or worse. The list goes on and everyone has their own unique experience here. So I get why you may feel a deep desire to let them have it. But this is also one of those times where my old drill sergeant was absolutely right. If it feels good, it's probably wrong. And letting them have it would almost certainly feel good in the moment. But what would that actually accomplish? More likely than not, what you just did by letting them have it is teaching them everything that they feared, because they found a sense of belonging. They found a sense of political empowerment in this movement. And the moment that they become just slightly vulnerable and open up, if you let them have it, then I think you're probably just going to reinforce that it's safer to go back into the movement, that it's safer not to open up, that it's safer not to ever admit you're wrong. And that is not what we're trying to accomplish on a real human-to-human level. And so what can you do? As much as this may sound simple, it is hard and requires practice, and you won't always get it right, and that's okay. But the first point is just this: take your time. Ultimately, what we're talking about is broken trust. And it's unreasonable to believe that your hurt will disappear completely instantly. It will take time and it will take proof. And if you really think about trust like a giant jar, when they chose to believe someone else online, when they called you names, when they voted in a way, or even more so, advocated in a way that really got at your human dignity and in a way that was bullying, that was basically taking whatever trust you had and likely really damaging it. And the way that you rebuild trust is by little step after little step, constant behavior. And so it's normal for you to look for evidence that the person has actually changed. Again, we're talking about the MAGA supporter who's opening up and trying to be vulnerable, that they might have been wrong and trying to see things from a different lens. And so I think it's fair just to let them know that it will take time, and that the first step of admitting they're wrong or might be wrong is a great first step. But there's also more that needs to be done. You can refer them to outside groups like leavingmaga.org, and others around the country are in this exact same situation. They can find community, they can find support. They can even find some guidance while you're working on what you have going on. It's okay to call in outside help. Beyond leavingmaga.org, it's okay to ask for therapy, to go to therapy. Mostly though, on human-to-human level, what you're really looking for is for them to actually show you that they changed and highlight the positive ways when they are actually changing. That could be simple things like actually being curious, not judgmental around what's going on politically. And when they come at you with asking questions instead of what they have been for the last 10 years, which is usually, I heard this online and you're an idiot if you don't believe it. Reward the questions. Reward it with a little bit of reciprocation and do that little by little. That's how you start to fill the jar full of trust back up, one marble at a time, one action at a time. And it's okay. You don't have to engage every single day. It's not on you all the time. But when you're ready, try to help them be better in those little baby steps. Help them build their own critical thinking ability and usher them along in how to fact check. And you can do a lot of this by simply asking them questions. What I have found in my own life is that when you can teach people how to ask better questions and they can start to see it for themselves, that's how you get lasting change. And that's really the sort of behavior that we want to encourage just by asking questions. And oh, by the way, when they first come out and start saying, hey, I'm a little vulnerable here, and they probably won't use those exact words, but when they start saying, hey, I might have been wrong, whatever moment that is, if that takes you totally by surprise and you don't know what to say, it's okay to say, thank you for saying that. Or I hear what you're saying. Thank you for sharing. You don't have to go point to point and immediately dive into fact checking in the last 10 years of history. You can just simply recognize it and it doesn't cost you anything. And that leads into my last point for this video. And it's just be patient. Relationships are hard. Relationships in the middle of this political division we have in this country where people are operating in completely different sets of facts and completely different realities. And the way that politics have been practiced has hurt a lot of people, and it's going to continue to hurt a lot of people. But healing from that and reconciling with others is hard, but we can all do it. And the benefit of reconciling with their loved ones is we can start to build back the communities we lost, the friendships and relationships we lost. I know plenty of marriages that have been destroyed by the political division we're seeing today. And I'm not saying they're all going to be repaired to what they were before, but the path out of this requires us as human beings to be able to reconnect with each other once again, beyond politics. And that starts with recognizing that they're vulnerable, that they have this need for belonging and this need for empowerment that has been getting filled by this particular political movement. And while one last time, I know it would feel good to let them have it. For years of hurt, years of neglect, years of taking other people's opinions more seriously than yours, that isn't going to heal instantly overnight. But recognizing that they did take a big first step is important. And then expecting them to follow that up with more and more actions is perfectly reasonable. And getting outside help, whether it's leaving MAGA.org, normal therapy, or others, is totally fine. Be patient, take time. You have the rest of your lives to rebuild these relationships, and it may take that, but it's so worth doing because we can do so much more when we reconnect and remember how much we have that unites us rather than divides us. Be patient, ask questions, take your time, and we can all come out of this better off than what we used to be. At least certainly be better off than what we've been for the last 10 years. Be part of that change. And if you like this idea, but you want to know more info how to do it, or even to role play how to do it, I am more than happy to dive deep into this. But let me know. Leave a comment below. Reach out to me, and happy to go more in this direction. Thank you. If you haven't yet, please click like on this video, drop a comment below, and click that subscribe button. It'll help the YouTube algorithm make sure that these videos are getting into your feed. Thank you.